everybody, what's up? It is Sarah with the Unleashed Beauty. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. Probably one of my biggest pet peeves, aside from bad grammar and people who talk while they chew, gross, is mismatched foundation. I'm not here to judge anybody, but everybody deserves to look good. So today I'm going to break down for you guys my 5 top tips for finding the perfect foundation match every time. We're gonna make this simple and painless, so let's get into it. Okay guys, so my first tip for you is going to be to determine where you fall in the shade range of the foundation line that you're looking to buy. So establish what brand it is that you're wanting, know which line, and then look at that shade range as a whole. Most companies are going to have something like light, medium, dark, and deep at a bare minimum. They should have kind of those 4 categories of shades, and you can figure out where you best fit. For instance, my pasty goes in the light range because she's a light one, right? So figure out where you're going to fit in the grand scheme of things. And then you can start digging in a little bit deeper with my next tip. Number 2 is understanding and determining your undertones. This can be a little bit tricky for some people, and for some people you just don't really stop to think about it, right? You know that you need ivory foundation, or you need, whatever the shade may be, but you never stop to think about all of the different components that go into making up that specific shade. And undertones has got to be by far the most important piece to this puzzle. If you happen to grab a shade of foundation that's undertones don't match up with your skin, that's where you're really going to fall into that trap of being mismatched and having a color that visibly just does not work for you. So say for instance, someone with warm tones grabs a cool tone foundation, a lot of times that foundation is going to pull very orangey. That's a surefire sign that they went too far into the cool range. And then on the other side of that, if someone with cool tones like me goes in and grabs a warm tone foundation thinking, oh, I'm gonna get a little glow on, I'm probably going to look yellow and jaundiced and it's going to be a hot mess. So you really have to determine what your undertones are and then move into the choosing a shade. So let's break down a couple of really simple ways to identify your undertones. So 3 simple ways, and these are kind of my personal favorites to determine undertones. And that's going to be by looking at the veins in the wrist, where your skin is nice and thin and you can really see what's happening here. By looking at jewelry. Yes, I know it sounds weird, but I promise I'll explain. And then the third way is by thinking about how sun exposure affects your skin tone. If you look at the veins on the inside of your wrist and they appear more blue, you are likely a cool undertone. If your veins appear more green, you're likely a warm undertone. And if they're kind of a bluish green and it's hard to tell, you're probably neutral. As for jewelry, if silver jewelry looks best on you, you're most likely a cool undertone. If gold jewelry looks best on you, you're probably a warm tone. And if you can wear both gold or silver jewelry and still look great either way, you've probably got a neutral skin tone. Now, sun exposure is my biggie. This is my personal favorite way to know if somebody's gonna be a cool tone or a warm tone. When you go out in the sun, you will either burn or tan. Pretty basic, right? Well, maybe. If you burn or if you get a tan that is reddish in color, you probably have cool tones. If you tan and come out of summer looking like a golden, gorgeous, bronzed goddess, then you're probably a warm tone person, and congratulations to you. I wish. And then if you notice that you burn first, but it turns to a nice golden tan, you probably have neutral tones. When it comes to figuring out your undertones, if these tips didn't help you, something else I can recommend, Lord knows, you can find anything if you Google it, right? And I'm sure there are dozens of other tips and tricks out there on how you can identify and determine undertones of the skin. These 3 are just some really simple methods that I personally use and wanted to pass on to all of you. Tip number 3 for finding the perfect foundation shade. At this point, you know where you fall within the shade range. You know what your undertones are. So now you get to narrow down your options because there's still going to be several light shades for cool undertones undertones or medium shades for warm undertones. You get my point, right? So now you have to narrow it down a little bit. A really easy way to do this is to look for a few simple keywords. For cool tones, look for foundations that contain words like cocoa, rose, sable, or porcelain. For warmer skin tones, look for foundations with caramel, golden, tan, chestnut, or beige in the name. And if you happen to be a neutral skin tone, look for foundations with names that include words like buff, nude, praline, or ivory. Step 4 is going to be pretty easy, but maybe kind of tricky depending upon how you shop. And that would be, if at all possible, try it on. So if you're shopping in a store, you can usually find a tester bottle and test out that foundation. The way to test foundation is to rub it right along your jawline, and if the color disappears into your skin, it's the perfect match. Now, if you're not shopping in store and you are shopping online or maybe through a consultant and testers are not available, you would need to check out a store's return policy. See if it's something that you can buy and try and send back if it doesn't work for you. Step number 5. Are we calling these steps or are we calling them tips? When in doubt, ask someone. If you are shopping in store, there should be some sort of a sales clerk or a beauty counter expert, someone you can speak with. Let them know what you're thinking based on your knowledge of your undertones and where you fall within the line, and get feedback from them as to whether or not they can point out a good option for you. Don't hesitate to second guess. If they're giving you a response that you don't completely agree with, don't ever fall into that consumer trap of feeling pressured to buy into something that you may not be 100% sure you need or want or will work for you. If you're shopping online, you can always check with a friend. Reach out to friends and ask them if they've ever tried a certain brand of foundation and how the colors that appear on the company's website stack up against how the shades are perceived in person. If you can't find a person to ask about that, you guys can always take it to social media. People love giving feedback on the internet, be it good or be it bad. So you can always throw the question out there to the Facebook world or the Instagram world or whatever platform you're using and see if any of your online acquaintances have ever used the product and can give you any feedback. As a final note, you guys, whether you're shopping online or in store, be sure that you always familiarize yourself with a company's returns and exchanges policy. You never want to get stuck paying for a product that you can't use, especially if it's a foundation, because nobody needs that kind of temptation just laying around in their makeup bag. I don't want to see all of you wandering the world with the wrong color of foundation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to give me a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Also, you guys, let me know down in the comments section if you have any of your own tips or tricks for choosing foundation shades. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Be kind to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.